Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Today we're going to go back, way, way back, 556 to the city, the blessed city of Mecca. A woman was born by the name of Khadijah. And why we are mentioning her now, more than 1500 years later, there's something special about her. In fact, more than one special thing about her that we all need, men and women, to look into deep and see what made her a builder of a nation. Interestingly, as a woman, we don't even know how she looks like, how tall, skin color, what was her hair looks like. But we all know the following. In all the books will tell you that. She was a businesswoman. She was a woman of honor. She was a woman of her word, support, and character. And her life started even before she married the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. She was married before, she had children, but she was widowed. Many men really wanted to marry her. Noble, wealthy, businesswoman, very unique lineage, but she declined. However, after she dealt with the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, in the famous history, a story where she used him to take care of her business, and when he came back, and after they dealt, or he and she dealt with business, she came to know him. And now she decided she wanted to marry this man for only one reason. And there is way many reasons to marry Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. But for her at that time was a noble man, a trustworthy man. And he was not rich, alayhi salatu wasalam. Then another obstacle, she was older than him. But for her was not an issue, and for sure for him was not an issue. The only issue he had, that she is rich and she may not want him. But she did. And in fact, she sent someone to him and saying, "Why are you not married yet?" And honesty. And he said, "I just can't afford it." And she said, "How about if we'll get you someone who will not worry about the money or the cost, if you want to use the word?" And he said, "I have no problem with that. Who is she?" And then she told him to Sayyidah Khadijah, and he married her, alayhi salatu wassalam. He was 25-year-old. She was above 40. I always ask myself, every one of us, after 50, 100 years, 200 years from now, how people will remember us, if they remember us. And look at the following narrations said by more than one Sahabi, one companion about her. Sayyidina Ali reported that the best woman in their time was two. Sayyidah Maryam was the best in her time, and Sayyidah Khadijah was the best in her time, not only in dunya, but in akhirah. You always wonder, what will make me and you the best person, a man or a woman, of my time, let alone 1,000 years later, and most importantly in Jannah. There has to be something special that makes me that special. Now, not only the best person or the best woman of Jannah, but there's something unique about her that no other human being outside the prophets had that. And this is actually in Imam al-Bukhari. And Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam was at home, and Sayyidina Jibreel came to him. And he said to him, Sayyidah Khadijah is going to come and bring you a container of food and drink. And when she brings that, feel this, tell her the following: Allah send his greetings, and I am sending you a greetings. And give her the glad tidings of a house in Jannah from reed, and she will not have any pain or sorrow in it. What did she do to have Allah send her a special greeting to her? So what made her so special? That's best woman in her time, best woman in Jannah. Allah sent her a greeting. Sayyidina Jibreel sent her a greeting. Let's take some highlights. And the first one is just a story very well known to everybody, but let's look into it deeper. So here you go, you're at your home, you come to your wife, and there's something really overwhelming you. And the response of the wife, or vice versa, the wife comes in and she really had something overwhelming her. And what's the response? So let's go to their house and let's see what was it. So he comes in after the famous story in the cave where Sayyidina Jibreel came to him and says, read. And then he responded, I can't read. And again, read. I can't read. Read. I can't read. And finally, he told him, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Read by the name of your Lord who created. So he comes back to her, and you can imagine the feeling, the fear, the disbelief. And he comes to her, and he said, something strange happened to me. And he was literally shaking and says, cover me, cover me. And then he told her the story. Now remember, there hasn't been a prophet 40 years before a Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. This is not something happens every day. What was her response? That's what made her so special. When he told her, I'm so worried about myself, she said, don't worry. Have the glad tidings. By Allah, Allah will never disgrace you. Why is that? What did she see from him? And she acknowledged it right away and used it in the moment. You keep good relation with the kins, family, regardless. You take good care of them and you're keen to keep it. This is important for a wife and a husband. 1. Number 2, you're always there when people need you, especially the needy. Number 3, you speak the truth. She acknowledged it. It's extremely important to acknowledge the positives of people, to give them the support. You serve the guest generously. It's all support. The uniqueness about her, to build a nation, to be a builder, to bring positive influence. You need to be positive and bring the positive from people. As we journey through the life of the supporter of Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. Now she was positive in speech, but that was not it. Immediately, she took him to her cousin, Waraq ibn Nawfal. Why is that? She knew that that's the best person to give the support needed at that moment. Moment of fear, moment of disbelief, and what she wanted and expected absolutely happened. Because immediately, Waraq ibn Nawfal said to him, what you are telling me and who came to you is the same one who came to Sayyidina Musa. Waraq ibn Nawfal was not a Muslim, but he read the books. And then he said to him, he was an older man, he said to Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, and this is so powerful, if I will live to the day that your people will make you leave, I'll support you. And Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, with all his noble characters, will they let me out? Will they push me out? أَمُخْرِجُونِهُمْ? And he said, no one brought to his nation what you are bringing, but they will let him leave. Not let him, actually. They will push him to leave. She took him back. And now look at the second reason why she is a special woman in dunya, in this life, and the special woman in akhirah. She was the first person, not the first woman, the first person, the first human accepted Islam. What an honor. But every honor comes with responsibility. What did she sacrifice? Belief, to be a builder, to be someone different. You have to believe in what you have. Number 2, you have to be very hard worker. And number 3, you have to sacrifice. Things doesn't come easy. This is a noble woman, a rich woman. And then what happened to her? Went through famine. She had to migrate. She had to give up a lot of things for only one reason, to support her husband. And not only her husband, but even the whole family. This is a woman who delivered 6 children. She lost 2 of them, the 2 boys. So the life was not smooth. She went through a lot of tests. She lost her children. But still, the 4 girls, she had them. Support, belief, hardworking, and resilient. You don't give up. You keep going to build a nation. Believing, faith, is something we all struggle with these days. But if we just look at what this brings to our homes and look at what it brought to her house, a lot of challenges, of course, a lot of difficulties, but what blessings and legacy that left and lived for thousands of years after her. One of the unique things she did in her house, this is before Salah became obligation. She used to pray with the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, 2 rak'at every morning. She was greeted, as we said, by salam by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She became the mother of one of the best women in Jannah. She was one, but her daughter also was one, Sayyidah Fatima. She was the grandmother of the 2 masters of all the martyrs in Jannah, Sayyidina al-Hasan and Sayyidina al-Hussein. She died in Ramadan, the 10th day of Ramadan. She died in his hands, alayhi salatu wassalam. And she actually died as a result of the famine she went through and the difficulties she went through, just because she's a believer. He actually laid her down in her grave, he alayhi salatu wassalam, by himself, and he personally supervised the preparation of her grave. Alayhi salatu wassalam wa alayhi salam. Uniqueness after she died is the non-ending feelings and love he had, alayhi salatu wassalam, for her for years after she died. Whenever she is mentioned, his face changes. Her sister one day came in, and this is reported by Sayyidah Aisha. Her sister came, knocked on the door, and Sayyidah Aisha said, he said, let her be Hala. So he was hoping that the person who's going to come and enter the house, this is years after, this is in Medina, that it is Hala, her sister. And when she entered, his eyes filled with tears. This is love. His love to her was legendary, to the point that Sayyidah Aisha used to say, I have never had jealousy to a woman I have not seen, but it's Sayyidah Khadijah. And one day she said to him, why you keep remembering her? Why you keep anything is given to him as a gift? He made sure that some of it goes to her family or to her friends. And then he said to her, to Sayyidah Aisha, who's another beloved woman to him, and he said, don't hurt me by saying anything about Khadijah. What a love is this? What a woman she is. What do we have, each one of us, and I'm sure we do, something from Sayyidah Khadijah, that if we look deep inside us, we will find it. Use it for the sake of Allah. And then He will put barakah or blessing in it, and then make us, Ya Rabbi Ameen, a builder of a nation.